Testing 1 2 3. Testing 1 2 3. All right, seeing everything sounds good. All right, yo, what is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the show. If you're new here, my name is Mitchell. In today's episode, I'll be talking about why is she ignoring your text. And I do these YouTube lives every Saturdays at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And if you guys do find this video content of value, you guys can show your appreciation by hitting the like, subscribe, and sending it to some of your friends and family, whoever needs this type of help. And if you guys want to further support me, everything is in the description down below. There's links down there, and a little small donation, whatever, big or small, I appreciate it. Now, that being said, I'm going to be talking about a recap episode, and the episode that I will be talking about today is how women respond to emotionally unstable men. And the slide that I'll be talking about is it turns them off. It turns them off. And the reason why I chose this topic is because there's a lot of men out there nowadays, and they don't know how to regulate their emotions. And guys that don't know how to regulate their emotions are usually the guys that runs across, get the most problems. They get the most problems in relationships, and they're usually like left scratching their head, like, what's going on? How come she doesn't treat me well, and things like that. And so, how women respond to emotionally unstable men. Number one, it's in reality, it turns them off, but it turns everybody off. It turns everybody off, especially if you're always emotional and you don't know how to maintain composure, right? Also, if you're supposed to be the man and you're deemed or considered to be the person that's supposed to be that masculine energy, the person who is cool, who's calm, and who is collected, and then you start being angry, you become very vocal, you start yelling and screaming. Basically, what you're conveying to the world and to her is that you're acting more like the girl in a relationship, aka more the feminine energy, and no girl wants to tolerate another grown toddler. And so it's like, well, how do you become better, right? And then you also have to understand this too. Now, you may have the luxury to treat others like this, but if you constantly display behaviors of incompetency, especially to a woman, what's up? Especially if you constantly displaying incompetency to a woman in a relationship, no relationship you have will be sustainable. No relationship you have will be sustainable, all right? So you're going to find yourself in a loop of going into relationships, and most people kind of give up after, like, there's no more good people out there. It's like, no, the reality is you. The reality is you. My name is Mitchell. So, now, it is a guaranteed way of ruining attraction. It turns her off, and she's not going to want to have anything to do with you, basically. If you constantly act incompetent, if you constantly act less of a man or less masculine in a relationship, she is going to want to leave you. Now, people lean towards emotional instability can have great qualities. I'm not saying that these people that are emotionally unstable, they're just bad people, like, don't give them the time of day. They could have good qualities or great qualities too as well, but they can also be very hard to work with. And it is not your job to change them. It is not your job to fix them. It is your job to align yourself with someone that's willing to help themselves, if not already there. There's a little standoff. All right. So my next question to you is, it's like, well, is the juice really worth the squeeze? Is the juice worth the squeeze? And to some people, it is. They're like, damn, she's fine. I probably can't get another girl like her. I'm just gonna like have to suck it up because she's so pretty, right? It's like, well, then it really tells me like your standard. And so you just got to really understand, right? And then the worst part is, if you do settle for that type of relationship, you will always be at the mercy at your worst impulses, and you will lose control because you lack emotional self-control. You can't control your emotions. Like, you can't just be like, damn, even though she's fine, she's a little cuckoo and I probably shouldn't mess with that. But that also means I need to step away, right? And a lot of men can't do that. A lot of men, they feel like they have to stay in that type of relationship. But anyways, let's move on to the meat at the topic of, why is she ignoring your texts, right? Why is she ignoring your text messages? And the first one is reasons, okay? And there could be a million reasons. There could be a million reasons, right? It could be that she's just not interested in you. And don't take that personal. Maybe you're just not that interesting because you're not interested in her. I mean, you're just not interesting, right? You don't really have much going on for your life. Maybe you might be boring. She might be bored of you, right? She could be in a relationship. You don't know that. She could be overwhelmed and she could be busy, whatever it is. And personally, whenever someone tells me that they're busy and they got this, I honestly think being busy is BS, that people will make time for those who they think they're worthy of. So being busy is not an excuse. Anyways, moving on. Now, for these reasons of why she's ignoring your text, if she once was interested in you, in talking to you, and now she completely ignores you, you might think that, hey, you know what? Maybe she might be playing some games with me. She might be testing me. And that could be a possibility as well, right? And there could be many reasons why she's not interested in you. Yeah, so you could spend your entire day, you could spend weeks, even months thinking about why she isn't responding back to you. But if you bottom line her actions, she isn't interested in you, and you should move on. But there are ways to go about that. You don't become bitter, and it doesn't mean like you go, and I've seen a lot of guys do this too. They send like this nasty text message letting her know how she made him feel. Like, this is how you made me feel when you ignored me, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, that's, anytime you say something like that, it's feminine energy, right? So you go on about your day. This is what you do. You go on about your day as if it does not affect you. And then you should continue to do that until it genuinely does not affect you. And a quote by Jim Rohn that I really, really enjoy and really like, that I would like to share with you today is, reasons come first and answers come second. It seems that life has a mysterious quirk of camouflaging the answers in such ways that they become apparent only to those who are inspired enough to look for them, who have reasons to look for them. So your reasons needs to come first, and then your answers come second. And so what that means is that if she is constantly, not just her, but other people as well, other females as well, if they're constantly ignoring your messages and they're not responding to the way that you want it, there's probably something wrong that you're doing, or there's probably something that you're saying or doing that is turning her off. And what I'm saying is, the problem might be you. And you just got to be okay with that. And that is why it is important to have a coach to kind of see what is going on, what are some of the mistakes that you're doing, so that you could polish those up where you're not making these same mistakes over and over again. All right. Now, slide number 2 is that you are moving too fast. And it's like, well, what does that mean? Well, there is such thing as over pursuing. And when guys over pursue, especially in the beginning of this whole courtship, you guys are not exclusive yet. Yeah, a lot of guys like to move things too fast before she's ready, right? And then that usually what happens is, from what a lot of women would call it, they call it the ick, right? Because they don't really know how to explain it. And I am a guy, and I could explain the type of behaviors that you're doing. Depends on which ones, right? But it's like when a woman says that, you know, anytime a woman tells you that you're giving them the ick, it's her saying that whatever you're doing, it's turning them off, and it's not attractive. So now what it means is that, in other words, you as a man, as a man, you should be doing more things right than wrong. I mean, it sounds pretty self-explanatory, right? But this is how you become more successful with other women, so that you have a more successful relationship, by learning, by understanding, right? And if you're supposed to be a man and you're supposed to be the leader in this relationship, or dating and courting her, the responsibility relies on you. So you, as a guy, you're supposed to be the one that sets up the date. You're supposed to be the one that leads the relationship or that courtship. So with it, and you have to understand when to move forward, when to take a step back, when to move forward again, when to move back. It's not super calculated, but you have to understand that in everything that you do, you have to understand, what can I do to help elicit some sort of response so that she feels like she should be investing into me as well, because I'm a quality person. But you don't go in there and telling anybody that you're a quality person. Quality is shown through action, shown through emotional regulation, right? By understanding and talking to her and being fun and playful. Like, those are all things that are very attractive to a woman. And so, like I said, if you're supposed to be the guy and you're supposed to be the leader in the relationship or the courtship, the responsibility relies on you. Okay. And my coach Corey Wayne, shout out to you. He always said that, the sex is always a man's fault. Sex is always a man's fault. Okay. So it goes back to you as well. If she wants it, it's your fault. You're the one that caused it, and there's a good cause. But if she doesn't want it, it's your fault as well. So it's like, well, what are you doing that's causing her to want it, which is great, and what are you causing to make her not want it, which is not so great, not the result that you want, right? So let me see oh God. Okay, hold on. Yeah, y'all playing too rough. Okay, come here. All right, so yeah, the responsibility relies on the guy. And so it's important to understand when to pursue her in the beginning, or how to pursue her in the beginning, and when to back off just enough and move slightly slower than she does, and when to allow her to pursue you. Those are all important questions to understand, and these are important things to really put into your mind and really think about, like, well, what are some things that I am doing that's correct, and what are some things that I am doing that's incorrect? Because whatever is causing you, it's causing her to not text you or ghost you, right? And then also, it is our job as a guy to vet your dating prospects properly. It is very important to vet your dating prospects. A lot of guys, they go kind of goo goo gaga over a woman's beauty, because in reality, they sometimes, a lot of guys don't think they could do a lot better, and so they fall for the first person they see. What are they doing? Okay, you have to understand this too, where it takes time for a woman to fall in love, and it also takes time for a woman to fall out of love, and it will take even more time for her to fall back in love. And so when a woman falls in love, it takes time. It takes time for her to fall out of love, which also means that it tells me that a lot of things that you're doing is not showing her, it's not attractive to her, and so that's why she's backing away. And so for her to come back and give it another shot, for her to fall back in love, that's where a lot of guys, they get very antsy. They don't know how to act, and like I said, they're in a very vulnerable state. And when they're in this vulnerable state, they don't know how to respond, and they act based off feelings. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with feelings, but I'm just saying that they're not always the best actions to take, not all the time. It should be well thought out. Now, for most men, the goal is to practice infinite patience, okay, with yourself. You have to practice infinite patience with yourself, because your actions right? Because your actions will show that if you're a patient person, your actions will show that you're not needy, nor are you desperate, and you're not rushing to try to lock her down into a relationship. You're allowing her to come to you at her pace, which is her idea. It's kind of like her opening the door and you just walk through it. You don't have to be that guy with the toolbox outside trying to sneak in, right? That's creepy. Don't do that. And so she's opening the doors, and all you got to do is walk away. Walk away, walk in it, right? So you should be. And here's also a big thing too for most guys, especially if you're not in an exclusive relationship, you should be going on other dates as well. Not just her. You should have the best option for you. Like, who wouldn't want the best option, right? So now, in terms of locking people down into relationship, right, you have to understand that it is feminine energy. It is a woman's job to lock a man down, not a man trying to lock a woman down. And you might say, hey, Mitchell, I know plenty of guys or male friends of mine that when he asked her to be in a relationship, she said yes. And they're in a happy relationship right now too. Great. By all means, maybe something worked out for them. But you also don't know what most people are feeling in a relationship. I've seen a lot of ins and outs. And the happiest people that you see on social media, they're usually the most unhappiest people in a relationship. And so there's always something in a relationship. And so you don't know what exactly is going on, right? And so it is a woman's job to lock a man down, not the other way around. Okay? It is always better if she thinks she likes you more than you like her. As a man, it is better for, and women would disagree with that. They'd be like, no, I want a man to like me more. That way he would treat me well. Well, look, let's put it like this. How many times have you met another guy that is willing to just drop any amount just to try to please you, and yet you're still unhappy with that person? You're like, fuck it, I'm not happy, but as long as he's buying me these nice bags, doing these nice gestures for me, I'll stick around. But you're not in love with him. So like I said, it is always better that she likes you more than you like her. All right. And I'm not saying this in terms of like, damn, you have to manipulate her feelings into thinking that, oh, you got to hold back your feelings. It just means that whatever you're doing as a man should be judging her based off her actions, and you just act accordingly to that, And so if you find yourself constantly in a place where she is constantly ignoring your texts, or you find some success and then she ignores you, like this, you have to think about it in this perspective. The slightest mistake from a guy will cause her to back away. You could say one thing wrong, and for her it would be like, oh, he gave me the ick, I'm just gonna ignore him. And you have to understand how many more guys she could go on dates with, especially now with dating apps, and women just gets more dates than men. And so you just got to stand out. You just got to be the most irresistible option for her. That's it. And how do you do that? By elevating yourself, by educating yourself, filling in your knowledge gap, understanding how relationship works. And you have to understand that relationship goes through phases, and how you're going to pursue one moment and when to back away next, and when to pursue her again. It's like you have to understand where this kind of tug of war kind of goes, right? So like I said, the slightest mistake will cause her to back away. The problem is, most likely it is probably you if you're constantly getting ghosted, or you're constantly getting ignored by women. But here's the good thing. The good thing is that you can change that. You could change your behavior, which also means that you would change results. And so, yes, the problem might be you, but like I said, the good thing is you can change that. So you must move slightly slower than she does, okay? And so that this helps facilitates a woman to pursue you. Because anytime you deviate from allowing her to come to you, you are pushing her away more into the arms of another man. And so you have to understand this. And this is probably one of the most important things that I have to say, which is everything that you're doing right now is to help facilitate a woman to pursue you more because she finds value in you. Nobody would want to be with somebody that they don't find value in them. And so everything, like I said, everything that I'm teaching you guys as a man to a man, it is to help facilitate a woman to pursue you because she finds value in you because you're the leader in the relationship. You're the leader in your own life. And so that's why it's so important. All right. Now, moving on to the next is what not to do. Okay. What you do not do. So you don't need to text her and let her know that you will give her space now that she ignored you. You're like, hey, I just want to let you know that it sounds like you need space and I want to give you that. Like, you don't need to do that. Don't do that. It's pathetic. Okay. You don't need to let her know that you will be backing away and giving her more time. Okay. Or asking her, hey, how much more time do you need? Like, she doesn't even know. Okay. What makes you think you would know? And so back away. And when time is right, she will come back, or she might come back. She might not. We don't know that. Right. So if you message her once, okay, you have to understand this. If you message her once and she has not reached back out to you, you could reach back out one more time after about a week, about one more time. So for other coaches, they might even say, look, one chance per lady, one chance per woman out there. That's it. If they don't reach back out, they're gone. I would say, look, if you reached out once, maybe something happened. You don't know. Maybe she didn't get your text, which I highly doubt. Maybe she got your text, but, forgot to respond back, whatever. But you could reach back out one more time after about a week. And one or two things will happen. If she doesn't respond back, never call, never text her ever again. Leave her be. She wants to be left alone. She doesn't find you interesting. Let her go. Now, if she does reach out, and she says she's still busy and don't know when she will be available, let her know that to reach back out whenever she has, whenever she's available, and we can schedule a date together. That's it. You let her know that and you back away. That's it. All right. And if she does reach back out and she says yes, great. Set up a time. Set up a definite date. A time, a place, a definite date. You have to know exactly where you're going to go and the time you're going to meet up. Okay, that's a definite date. And so another really, really, really big thing is that where most guys, they agree to something that they really don't want, which is agreeing to be friends first. Like, oh, I don't really find you attractive right now, but we could be friends. And they'll be like, man, all right, well, at least being friends is better than not having her around at all. It's like, nah, like, if you find her attractive and you see her more than just platonic friends, don't agree with that. Just be like, you know what? Never agree to anything that you don't want. It's like signing something on a piece of paper. It's like signing a contract, right? This agreement when you don't agree with it. It's like, why would you do that, right? So if she reaches out, right? If she reaches out and says things like, oh, I'll go on a dinner with you, but only as a friend. This is what you would say. You would say, I love to get to know you more, but I'm not interested in being friends. I'm really not. And, let her know if she changes her mind and to reach back out to you. And then you can schedule a time, schedule a date. Because that, at least if she does not, she might not like it, but she will definitely respect your decision. Okay. So, because the greatest negotiating position is to be able to walk away and mean it. And that's something that my coach has always been saying, Coach Corey Wayne. Okay. He's always been saying this. The greatest negotiating position is to be able to walk away and mean it. And you as a man must be congruent. You have to be congruent of what you said and what you say you will do, right? You must be congruent with who you are and what you say you will do. When you tell her to reach back out when she changes her mind, it means that your pursuit from now on moving forward is over unless she reaches back out. So it doesn't mean that you message her back in 1 week or 2 weeks or a year. It doesn't matter. If she does not reach back out, that means your pursuit is over. You have to say what you mean and mean what you say. When you tell her, you let me know when your schedule frees up, it means she will reach back out, and that's it. And that is how you stay congruent with who you say you are and what you do. So lastly, I want to talk about is giving her space. All right. So to clarify, once you backed away and you're not bitter, you're not going to be that bitter melon. All right. You're not bitter because here's the thing. A lot of guys, when they become bitter about being rejected, they feel like it's a personal attack, right? Like, oh, I don't want to be with you. And they feel like it's a personal attack. Being bitter just further reinforces the idea of her decision, of the decision that she made was correct, was the right decision. It's like, have you ever heard of a guy trying to, well, I've seen this back in the days at the club where the guy would try to go and talk to the girl, and the girl is like, oh, no, I don't want to be with you. And he goes, you're ugly anyways. It's like, okay, like, my question to the guy is that, well, so why did you approach? If would you have said something different if she agreed? Or would you have said the same thing if she agreed to dance with you, or she agreed to, give you a shot? You wouldn't be like, oh, you're ugly anyways, right? You wouldn't say that. So being bitter, there's nothing good, right? If you get rejected, you'd be like, well, have a great day. Have a nice day. And then, you know what? If she decides to change her mind, at least you leave that door open, right? That's what Bruno Mars says. So, you want to become better. You do not just continue to do what you've always done, because that would mean that you're going to get the same results. You have to learn. You have to polish up whatever new skills you have. So it means that you got to put whatever you learn into action. So you have to become different. You have to become better. Then allow her to come, or any other woman to come into your life and see what's been new and different about you. And the problem is with most guys is that they don't know when to pursue, when to back away, and when to initiate. And that's usually the biggest problem for most guys. And to keep things simple, in the beginning, the guy does the pursuit. Okay, he doesn't chase, he pursues her. What it means is that when I see an attractive woman that I deem attractive, you go up and do the approach. You try to get to know her right there, or you get a feel of how she is. And if she's interested, you get her number, you get set up a date for a future, and then you guys get to know each other. And that is your pursuit. And you slowly the goal is to slowly reduce the amount of your pursuit so that it facilitates her to try to pursue you more, because it is always better that a woman likes you more than you like her. And the reason why is because it's more feminine. Feminine energy is about bonding. It's about connecting. And if she finds value into you as a guy, she is going to want to be with you. She's going to want to spend more time with you. And the more she is invested into you, you're at a much better place than a guy that's always trying to bombard her with over texting, 5 text messages, and she just responds with 1. It's like, where do you think you will end up if you're always the guy that sends 5 messages and she sends 1, and it's a short little one, right? What's up, Rocco? So it's like, you have to understand like when to pursue, when to back away, when to continue, like when to initiate again. It's like, those are all things that you have to understand as a guy. And if you don't know that, it's going to cause a lot of discrepancy in your dating life. And you don't want that. Or at least if you're going to have that, you want to go through the experience knowing that, look, this is why I made a mistake in, right? And so you got to become better. You got to be different. Okay. let's see, where was I? So yeah, like I said, for most guys, they're getting turned down a lot. They're getting turned down before they even get on the first date. And because of the way they're initiating conversations through text, where most guys have the most problem is that they try to use text, their phone, to get to know her. Like, texting is not to get to know somebody. Texting is a tool for setting dates. Texting is a tool for setting dates, not to get to know someone. So you have to understand, it's like, well, if you're constantly getting rejected by other women, and you're not getting any type of results, the problem is probably you, and you just have to understand what to do and how to approach it. And so with that being said, I know it's a little bit shorter live, but I do appreciate anybody that's been watching. And I will continue doing more lives every Saturday at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I'll catch you guys on the next live. All right. Peace.